Red week for Nasdaq last week, down 1.64%. What will it be this week? Well, if you want to know what I think, you have to stay tuned as we're heading into week 6 and you are listening to the StockInvest.us podcast, Trading Tips with Jim. In the $1,000 challenge, NEO didn't do much last week, but managed a slight green. As I said, Nasdaq fell by 1.64%, ending the week at 19,627 points. After being above 20,000 points. Dow Jones had a little bit better week, but not by much, up 0.27% for Dow Jones to 44,544 points. And the big question is, what will it be this week? Last week I warned you about DeepSeek, how it would affect, especially the Monday opening, and Monday was red. And everyone was trying to figure out what does DeepSeek mean for AI. I gave you all the reasoning last week. I will not repeat that. I just urge you, go listen to week 5, episode 5, if you want to know what I think the impact of DeepSeek is. This week the focus will be a little bit different because this week will be full of major companies coming with their quarter results. And the question is, will they be on the positive side or the negative side? The consensus is that most will deliver on the upper end, and if they do, it's a fair chance that the markets will go up. The big question on the Monday is the tariffs, especially against Canada and Mexico, and also the 10% tariff on China, which Trump put in place. Right now, it's all over media, but we have to know which side media leans on. So it's no wonder why it is tons and tons of very doom articles out in the market right now about the tariffs. Of course, for most investors who are not into the markets, they will think we are heading for a big doom. And that may cause for a red and very red opening on Monday, which probably will be like last Monday, a super buying opportunity. I used it last week because I've seen this over and over again. When people do not know, they sell in panic. You just buy at the low, like in Nvidia, was down heavily down, just to be up 8-9% the day after such a nice swing. It will be somewhat the same today. Of that, I am pretty sure. Which stocks to buy? Well, I haven't figured out totally yet. What I usually do is I watch the market as the market opens and try to find stocks that fall enough, getting close to the support levels. I prefer in this case big companies because it's much more reliable than being into smaller companies. Because let's say that Tuesday continues in a negative mood, then you do not want to sit in small companies. It's much easier to sit in big companies because they will not lose as much, and you never know exactly what market will do. But the bet is that the Monday will be a brutal opening. My guess it will be short-lived. I think it will go very fast back, as professional people will give their professional opinion about what this means, how it will affect things, and we have to understand this is a much bigger game. But right now, across all media, as I said, you can just guess which side the media is on. It's doom all over the newspaper. This will for sure bring prices up, inflation to skyrocket. But I told you over and over again, the main element of inflation is energy prices. That is where you should keep your focus in terms of inflation. It was the big thing when I told you many years ago that inflation would rage, which it did. And I don't think we are finished with inflation. I've given many podcasts about that, especially last year, that we are not finished with inflation yet. Too much money has been pumped into the system. We have to burn through all this borrowed money before we can start to see. But energy is the one thing, and last week oil fell by $2 to $74. There is a fair chance that oil should go down. Right now we are in a bit of turmoil. Things will go a little bit back forward. In this scenario, oil should hold somewhat good. But in the long run, I'm pretty sure that energy will go down, and so will inflation. But there is so many things to deal with. But in course of inflation, I would not pay too much attention on tariffs. More on what is happening on the energy sector. And by the way, you know that many years ago I was getting heavily into oil. I have reduced most positions in oil. I'm mainly now actually into freight of oil and gas. That's where I'm highest position in that kind of sector. In general, I don't think the dividends will be good because the production cost is way down from 40 and down, depending where the oil companies are located. Shallow sand, I think, is around $45 break-even cost. Above 45, they make a lot of money. In the North Sea of Norway, I think it's just above some $20, even down to $15 on some of the most efficient fields, while Saudi Arabia is way down there at the $10-15 range. That's anything above, and they make huge money. So oil is still pumping up good money for the companies. So I expect dividends to be up there. And I think I saw ConocoPhillips will release results on Thursday. There you can read more. What's the common thing which I see in the oil sector right now is that they are cutting down their employees, trying to efficient, because I think also they see that it will be, again, after a long period of high oil prices, again, things will sharpen a bit and you have to be as efficient as possible. So we were talking about the Monday. The Monday may be starting very red. I will not be surprised if it ends green. As I said, this will just be panic and as people and the professional for sure, they will evaluate these things differently. And come Monday, there is also a few quarter results. And one company that you can take a bet on is Palantir. Palantir is expected to move plus minus 8% on the quarter results. So it's expected to be a high move for Palantir today. Can be more, but it's like minimum plus minus 8%. And I checked Palantir a little bit before starting the podcast, and I checked how many buy signals, for instance, are in Palantir, and right now across 28 different signals, half of them are giving buy signals, but this half is on the better side of the signals, the more important side. So the buy signals are on the good side of Palantir, so maybe we are heading for a very nice strong upturn for Palantir. At least that's what the signals suggest, but again, you never know. Palantir will present results in a somewhat negative market. We will see how the market reacts to it. Then during week we follow up with more quarter results. This week will be mainly jobless numbers for economy data, and of course the tariffs will be over the news, all over the news, most likely all week, back and forth, and doom, gloom. As I said, I wouldn't pay too much attention on them. Job numbers is much more interesting, and we will have job openings tomorrow. Expected to be, last month was 8 million, so it'll expected to be somewhat the same. On job numbers on Thursday, jobless claim numbers is much more interesting, and Friday we will have the unemployment numbers. We know that GDP came in a little less than expected last week for quarter 4. But again, now we will slightly get into more realistic numbers moving forward. We do not have the same money flowing into the system being printed. And we can only assume that now it's the interest of most companies, statisticians, departments to give a more negative view of economies. I will not be surprised if we suddenly start to see unemployment numbers show differently. One number that you should note, which is very important when we talk about all these things, is the labor force participants. It's how many people are in the working force. And right now, from whom can work, we're excluding, of course, kids, we're excluding olders, but people that could work, only 62.5% is in the force. Many of them have just skipped out because of subsidies and other arrangements, making it as lucrative just to stay home, not doing nothing, instead of working. The more people that go back to the workforce, the higher the pressure will be on unemployment. So once we start to see this number, which is all-time low, it's the same sickness that we see in Norway. Everyone is mostly hired in the government, and there are so strong benefits that most people stay outside the workforce, keeping a very, very low labor participant force. As these things may change, it will affect unemployment numbers. What else to say about economics? These are the main things. As I said, tariff, unemployment number, that will be the main topic of the week. The rest will be about quarter results, and here are a few of the quarter results coming. As I said, Palantir will come today, expected move 8% plus minus. Tyson Food will come. Tyson is more interesting in terms of inflation and a few other things. Tomorrow we will have Google. Google doesn't expect to move much, but we will see. The main thing here is probably professionals trying to gauge what is happening with Google search. And my prediction is very, very strong. Google search will lose against AI, because I just look at my own pattern. I seldomly use Google anymore. I just ask AI for more or less everything. At some point this will show into the numbers, and we will see. That I think will be the main focus for Google numbers coming tomorrow. AMD will come, 5.8% expected plus minus move for AMD, followed by Chipotle, Electronic Arts, PayPal, PepsiCo, Pfizer, and one company which I will follow especially, Snap. And then Spotify. And while talking about Snap, the reason why I am little into Snap now is because maybe you remember back more than a year ago we did a very, very nice Snap trade, and I argued why. Then was the first time there was questions about TikTok being banned, etc. And now we know that something has to happen with TikTok within just 3 weeks or something, and Snap has been bombarded. If we look at the chart, there is nothing in the chart saying that Snap should go fast up. They are in a slight falling trend. The tops are lower. There is absolutely nothing in the technical chart other than being low on the relative strength index. If you look at the buy and the sell signals issued for Snap, we can see that a little less, 40% is only giving buy signals. Most of them are neutral, not able to say exactly what will happen with Snap. But these which are most important are green, signaling buy. I personally have taken a position into Snap. I think Snap may be on people's radar as things are happening with TikTok. Where will users go with all this fuss and buzz? We know that the Chinese app, for instance, another Chinese app is getting popular, but I think there might be upside in Snap. So I will be following Snap and the quarter results tomorrow. Wednesday follows with Disney, Ford, Novo Nordisk, Uber. Uber is expected to move 6.3%. Toyota, Viking Therapeutics, and Qualcomm. Qualcomm is probably interesting for anyone following IT. Thursday, there will be ConocoPhillips, Finterest, Peloton, and Roblox will come. And I saw there was a few companies on Friday, but these are the main companies. And that brings us back to, so what will happen during the week? What do we think happened during the week? I think we will start a little bit rough. Then we will have huge company comes with the quarter results. The consensus is that they will do better than expected because the expectations is already low. So there is expected that the earnings will beat. So there will be earning beats during most of these presentations. Given the fact of this, and given the fact that the chart of Nasdaq is still good, plenty support below today's level is first if it breaks under 19,000, that we should start to be a little scared, because it makes for a much bigger change. Then we can start to talk about actually having a change. Until then, everything is just moving within what you can expect. Nasdaq is still in a rising trend. We have to break down between 19,200 to break the trend, and the support of 19,000, because after that it can be a little bit more free fall. Relative strength index is totally fine. It's on the way up. It's not high, it's not low. There is nothing special. With these things said, I think after being a bit negative last week and saying that it will be a lot on up or down last week, and Friday was especially red with the tariff, etc. I think Nasdaq will be green this week. That's my bet. Start a little rough, and then we will go back to more green as the fear of all these tariff talks will be replaced by realism, and quarter results will most likely come in on the better end. But again, about quarter results, please read what the CEO say, because that is the most important things about the future, not so much about what has happened, because we cannot do anything with it. It's just a fact. It's more important what will be next time. Oil, as I said, $74, and gold, my friends, gold hit new record, $2,822 is gold sitting right now, as the dollar is even very strong. It went from 104 to 102 against euro, meaning that my gold position is absolutely in top shape. Very happy about that. All the fuss around everything means that gold still has attention, and I have a $3,500 target for gold. As you know, I think it will be a little slower ride with Trump as president up to 3,500, but in general I'm very bullish towards gold. I will at some point start to reduce my exposure for sure. 10-year treasury yield 4.56 after being down 1% last week. Lower 10-year treasury yield is good for stock markets. We will know a little bit more about what Fed thinks in all of these things. Jobless numbers is the one thing that people will keep an eye on. 17 minutes into the podcast, I will start to wrap up things. I will just give you a few stocks and signals. And let's start with AMD, for instance, which will have quarter results. I think I said AMD will come on, what was it? Was it Tuesday, tomorrow? So AMD, for instance, does not have many buy signals. Only, let's see here, only 3 buy signals for AMD. Not too good. Tons and tons of sell signals. Well, very interesting to see what AMD will do and how it will behave. While Snapchat, as I said, had 40% buy signals, AMD has less, just above 10%, 11%, while Palantir, which will be today, as I said, had 50% buy signals. Looking at the chart of Tesla, because I know a lot of you are following Tesla, is what I consider to be very good. The trend is still strong. It has good support below. We just have to accept that it's a very volatile stock, but everything in the chart indicates that Tesla should continue upwards. That is what the chart says. Things can change. There is a sell signals from the long-term moving average, but again, the buy signals from the short-term moving average, and the relative strength index is low. Follow up with a few more before we get to the $1,000 challenge, and we finally can get into the workday and the trading day approaching in just a few hours. Here are some stocks which are close to support level. May hold, may not hold, I don't know, but here they are. I think that given the fact that we are heading for a red opening, I'm not sure I will go on to them, but Adobe is sitting on support level. And has a potential, if it holds, 8.7% upside. Crocs is also sitting on support, having a potential upside of 9.8%. And FANG, Diamondback Energy, is also on support level, but only with a 4% upside. Even ProShare, QQQ, SQQQQ, 3 Qs, ProShare Ultra Pro Short Q, is sitting on support with a 4.83% upside. Again, I would not go for this in the opening for sure, but during the day, these may be some companies that will do good. Roundup, so what is my bet? I think Nasdaq will end green. I think we start off on a bad note. I think the quarter results will come in the upper end, and that will push the market, especially the big ones like Google. I think Palantir might be a very interesting case during the day. It will be very interesting to see. It will for sure move a lot. Buy signal says that there's a high chance it will be on the plus side. As I said, it's expected to move more than 8% up or down. But the signals themselves say that it should be in the positive direction. I don't know. My bet goes a little bit on Snapchat. Snapchat will come with quarter results tomorrow. I think there might be an upside in Snapchat. So I will be there, and I don't see any really spooky signs for Tesla. I think that sums up most of it. Then, my friend, what is left is the $1,000 challenge. And as you know, I'm sitting in NIO. NIO is currently trading at 432 after being up 3 cents last week. Didn't make much effort, but Nasdaq was down, so happy with what it was. It was up at 450, I think, but I bought it at 510, currently sitting with a huge loss of 15.29%. The $1,000 challenge has a value of $2,470.96 as we said. I stay stuck in NIO. I will sit in NIO a bit more. Interesting to see how these type of things play out. But I will be sitting in NIO because I still believe the upside is greater than the downside. If you want to see if I went into more losses in NIO, if I can continue to grow the $1,000 challenge, we have doubled it, but at one point we was up almost 4 times. We were very close to $4,000. Then we did a few, or we did not, I did a few mistakes, bringing it back to $2,470. But I told you this is a high risk where I tried to grow it as fast as I can. Haven't really succeeded yet. I was expecting much more. Crypto is also having a downturn. Do I think it is an opportunity to buy crypto? As I said, it's a hard choice. I made so much money in crypto over the last year. I'm so happy in all the things, positions that I have done. Woke up to see that crypto had a huge fall. Again, I am long-term into crypto. I think crypto is here to come. I would be very careful with certain cryptos. These comes and goes. I would rather be in the bigger one, which I am, and only take a few lottery tickets in the smaller one. I think the fall is a buying opportunity. I think it's a very good buy opportunity in very short term, meaning that if you are on the trigger this morning, you might sit with a nice profit before Wednesday, Thursday. Anyway, these things can absolutely collapse. Stock market can collapse. I've seen everything. We just need a few stacks of bad news. Now let's say something really bad happens in Ukraine right now. EU starts with sending soldiers to Ukraine, which they have been speaking about, by the way. Then we can have full escalation, and we have the fall will be extremely brutal. Anyway, that was it. 23 minutes, actually 24. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like. I hope you subscribe. I hope you will be back next week. Anyway, I wish you the absolutely best week there is. I hope that your portfolio will be much greener by the end of the week. Until next time, just have a super week. Bye.
Welcome to StockInvest.US Stock Analysis. We remind you that trading involves a high risk of losing money, and that you should speak with a financial advisor before buying or selling any securities. You should not base your investment decision upon StockInvest.US. By using the information you agree and are held liable for your own investment decisions.